Hi, great morning to you all. I hope you've all woken up grateful for your day, and I hope that you've all set a high vibe, reminding yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for today. Primarily, that you've been given another day, another shot at getting it right, and getting the most out of your experience. This morning, I just want to empower some people today. That's all I want to do, like every other day. When you guys see limits, I want you guys to get creative. And when you see an obstacle, I want you to take the time to learn. And when you're seeing any kind of setback, I hope you're taking time to assess. But most of all, I hope you're practicing the pause. Take the time to breathe before responding to anything. Seriously. No matter what's coming at you. Love yourself enough to understand that if anything stresses you out, you constrict. Hey, great morning, Penny. I love you. Have a magical day. Okay, I want everybody to realize that when you're stressed out about anything, your body's going to react automatically. I've been talking about automatic systems. And your body constricts. Now, anytime you feel your body tensing up, I want you to breathe it out and expand. Because as long as you're tensing up, you're not getting the air of life into you. All right? Have a great day, Penny. I love you. Seriously, guys, okay? So I want you guys to take the time to practice the pause. Because things happen and feelings come on. Because we have automatic systems that are governing that. But don't allow it to tense yourself. Don't allow it to fuel something that's negative for you. And another way putting it is, don't allow your body to constrict. Don't get stressed out. Don't feed yourself bad thoughts and amplify that. Take the time to breathe before responding to anything. Why? Because you matter. Simple. This morning's going to be a real eye-opener, and what I mean by that is I want you guys to understand something. I talk about programming and conditioning and installation of fear and all kinds of stuff when I come out here. This morning, I want you guys to all understand something. When you were incarnated into this experience, you were given your name, you were told how to act, you were told how to think, you were told how to respond, you were told what was acceptable and what wasn't. Okay, this is the programming I'm talking about. You were told who your family was, who was acceptable to love and who wasn't, the type of person that you were expected to be. So I want you to get real within your being with that. Now, until you can really identify that within yourself and understand that you have been totally programmed to be the way you are and know you're not just that way, that's when you can harness the change. When I was born, I was given my name. I was born already into a family with siblings. Into a very large family. And I modeled everything growing up. How I should act, how I should speak, how I should react, how I should do everything. How do I handle situations? How do I not handle situations? How do I parent? How do I This is the programming I'm talking about. And this is all stuff that you do not have to stay shackled to. And this is what I talk about. No, you're not just that way. Whoever was in your life from birth and took care of you and raised you, and whoever your teachers were and whoever was involved in your life, all played a part of your programming. Because all through it, all we did was try to be loved, try to be accepted, and try to live up to everybody else's expectations. This is what I mean. So I want you guys to get past that stuff. Because just the same way that we were conditioned to live and installed with all of this programming and, installed with all of this fear, you don't have to govern your life from that. Sounds crazy, but yes, you can make the shift. And you no longer can allow all of that stuff that you had to endure in your life to inflict your life by healing it all. By understanding that you are greater than any person, situation, circumstance that could have ever been in your life. And you've made it through it all. No matter what you lived, it was all temporary. Today's a brand new day. You're a brand new being, and you've acquired brand new learning. We are not human beings having spiritual experiences. No, we are energy first. What are we the energy of? Well, of everything. We are the energy of the unconditional love that runs this whole place. Within that is the power of the all-knowing. So absolutely anything ever manifested in this experience is already within us, fueling our experience. But we've been made to believe that we are our names, our families, our expectations that have been thrown on us, and that's not cool. You got to own your power. And I know, had our parents known, I'm sure they would have taught us differently. So you can't sit there and blame and shame and oh, well, no. Because I'm proud to sit here and say I couldn't shame and blame my parents for what they had to live. And for not knowing what I know now. But they had me, and that was enough. Okay. So you have to get past that. So I don't want anybody to sit there and believe that you are just like that because you are like that. No. But you can rise up out of that. But you got to wise up about your being. And understand that the way you think, the way you act, the way you talk, the way you deal with people all comes from modeling other people's behaviors. Own your own being. Find something that works for you, that fills your heart. And I can guarantee that it'll probably be a lot different than anything you've had to live. How do I know? Because that's what's happening. The things that I once tolerated, living like that, I can no longer do. The interactions that I once had, living like that, I can no longer have. Doesn't matter what title is attached to the name. You got to get it right within your own being, for you. Because no, you're not just that way. So don't settle for that. I come out here and I talk about not settling and pushing past limits and all of this stuff. We've been limited since we took our first breath. So get it right. Okay, we've all had hardships and we've all had to endure all kinds of magnitudes of different things. But the greatest part of it all is that we got through it all. And we've acquired learning whether you want to look at it or not. But you can stay programmed and conditioned in the ways that you've been set to be, and others believing that's the way you needed to be, so then you governed your being like that. Okay? Because that's exactly what it is. No, I'm not just like this. And I haven't been just like this all my life. No. There are many series of things that happened to me during my life that made me to be how I am. And half of it has to do with what others believed me to be. So no, you're not just that way. And no, I'm not just this way. But now I understand. So with learning and understanding, that's when I can evolve and grow out of it. Hey, great morning, Smitty. I love ya. Have a great day. Seriously though, guys, you got to take a look at that stuff. So I'll remind you all again, from since your first breath, you were given your name. You were told how to eat. You were shown how to walk. You were told how to talk. You were told what to touch, what to look at, where to put your energies, what would be good for you. Seriously. Before you were even in school. And then what happens when we send our kids to school? Well, somebody else takes over the programming. So we had to listen to our teachers, and all of the ones like myself who didn't stay in a high school and finish. I bounced around and went through all kinds of high schools. I couldn't conform. And I'm proud of that today. I'm glad I didn't conform. Doesn't mean I'm not educated. I'm very much educated. But that's the programming I'm talking about. You can stay stuck in all of that. You can fight all of that. Hey, you could run from all of that. Or you could simply change all of it. And yeah, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But who do you want to be for you? Think about that. Because no, you're not just, the way you are. You are the result of everything you've lived. So why do you think the way you do? Well, it's from what you believe. Deep down, way deep down. And why do you think the way you do? Well, yeah, the belief systems, but why do you say what you do? And why do you have the ideas that you have? And why do you have hey, you got to look at that stuff. And that's because of all of the programming that has been installed in you. Again, like I said before, you've been told who to love, who is acceptable not to love, what you need to not like about yourself, what you need to strive for in life. Do you know that from the minute we are born, we have an automatic capacity, which is an automatic system, to thrive? What takes us away from that? And where do we lose our belief in our own capacity? Well, from everybody we live growing up around, who has told us we have to be a certain way and installed fear into us. And come on, guys, get real with that shit. Take a look at your own being and understand your own programming. And understand that you're greater than that. Once you understand all of that stuff, it no longer inflicts your life. You have to go back, look at it, heal it. Why wouldn't you? When you understand that all of that infliction was not of your doing, forgive it. And forgive all the people that did that shit to you. Know that you're greater than that. But no, you are not just the way you are, because that's the way you are. And you may think, well, that's just the way I choose to be. That's bullshit too, because those choices are coming from where? From a damaged, destructive, and destructive belief system. Got to fix that stuff. Got to get it right. Because no, you're not just the name that was given to you. And no, you're not just an extension of the family you were told to love and that you had to be engaged with. And no, you weren't. You are more than any kind of person in your face, situation that you have to live, circumstance that may come your way. You're greater than any of that stuff. But where do you want to govern your life from? From a place of all the programming? Where you remain the way you are, believing what you do? Or do you want to wise up, check yourself, and fix yourself and rise above it? Simple choices. Okay, and you can't shame or blame anything that's happened to you because honestly, you accepted to come into this life experience and make that change. And live everything you've had to live while being given your name and who you had to love and model everything around you growing up. You accepted all of that. But when you allow yourself to feel your soul again, you're going to understand that. But you're greater than anything that anybody has believed and willed you to be. I encourage you all to will yourselves to be the person that you want to be. Out of all of that conditioning. Don't govern your lives from that. Govern your life from a place that you create yourself to be who you want to be. And that's the key. And stay true to that. And that's why I encourage people to stay true to yourself first. Not the expectations that everybody else has for you. Not the family expectations. Listen. Hey, none of that. Create yourself to be who you want to be. And stop being the person who everybody else has believed and willed you to be. Figure out what makes you tick. And I bet you it'll be a lot different than what you've been programmed to believe. That's why learning's an adventure for me. I've stepped out of that conditioning and programming, but I've fixed it. I've healed it so that it can no longer harm me. But where do I go from here? I create myself on a daily basis to be the person that I want to be. And who is that? Oh, the unconditionally loving being that I am. Primarily. Before I took my form. Here for this experience. And endured everything that I have had to. Simple. And I will put no other being on this planet of higher priority than me. Why? Because I matter the most in my experience. And everything extended and attached to that is only an extension of my own reality. In this experience. And what I perceive it to be. Because no two people see things the same way. But I can tell you something. We were all programmed the same way. And we were all conditioned the same way. So no, you are not just that way. Okay? But there is also something that we all have in common. And that's the unconditional love and the power of the all-knowing that actually sources our life experience. You know, people sit there and think, oh, energy is something that you got to get into. It is the primary start of everything. There is nothing without energy. So get it right. And what is the energy that you choose to hold in your being? Is it total opposition to what you're fueled by? Because that certainly creates a mess. How do you get back in tune with being an unconditionally loving person? Well, you tap into what is fueling you. Don't look outside for those answers. Look to your heart. Because this fuel, this unconditional love and energy of the all-knowing is giving your heart the electrical current to pump your heart. It's giving you life. Get it right. And in that connection, it doesn't matter what the hell happened to you since birth. So wise up to rise up. You got to get above that. The hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life is rise up out of the hell that I was living. But where did that exist? In my own mind. How would I not correct that? Zulabi? Seriously. So I want you guys to all understand how deep this stuff runs. Because had you been welcomed into this world being told that you are a love and light energetic being first, and that you can manipulate your experience to the highest form and reach a highest potential where you could manifest anything by thought alone, you would definitely be checking your thoughts. And the world would be a very different place to live in. But no, that's not what we're told. And we're not told to embrace everything we feel and be vigilantly aware of our beings. No, we're taught to be distracted and allow things to be distorted and to completely rip us away from who we are. So no, you're not just that way. Get it right. Get it right for yourself. Get it right for everybody attached to you. I am no more love and light than you are. Your primary being is love and light too. But are you scared of that? Are you ashamed of that? Do you think love is for the weak? Because I'll tell you something, that's what's fueling your existence. But that kind of love is an unconditional love. It doesn't come with labels and titles and, oh, well, if, shouldn'ts and couldn'ts and would and wishes and no. It is unconditional no matter what. Can you get right with that? Because only you can. And once you do, everything changes. Because it's impossible from that moment to stay shackled to anything that's hindering your life. Get past the programming. Get past the conditioning. How do you do that? You make small, simple, small little choices to better your being every day. It doesn't all happen overnight. It's a process. But you have to own it and be accountable to that for you, not for anybody else. Nobody will cheer you on the way you need to cheer on yourself. But is that going to stop you? No, you got to do it for you. Self-accountability is key. But you can do it. If I can do it, holy shit, anybody on this planet can do it. Do you know that I'm considered to have the same level of understanding as gurus and masters because I've had an awakening? And I've called back pieces of my soul and I've done certain things. And you know what? I consider myself as a student of this. Okay? You know, I walked around for years thinking I knew it all. Far from it. Guys, get it right. For you, and for everybody attached to you. Seriously. Guys, I want you to set a high vibe to be grateful for everything and anything coming your way. Everything is only merely an experience for you to learn. Seriously. Choose to be a better being than your programming, than your conditioning, and all those expectations that are laid on you by other people. Because the only thing that people can expect from me is that I will be who I am. Simple. But I will be unconditionally loving to myself and to everybody else. Why? Because that's on me. And that's what's fueling me for my life experience. So why would I work in opposition to that once I know better? Anyway, I love you all. I want you to get the most out of your experience. And this is why I come out here and rattle the brains the way I do. Yes, I want to I want you guys to come out of all of that programming and conditioning where you believe that you're afflicted by life and all of this crap attached to that. All of that shit stays there. If you can't look at your own being, you cannot correct your own being. Stop watching what everybody else is doing and really take a look at what you're doing. Thinking, saying, doing, inflicting on others. Come on. Only you can get it right for your being. Nobody else could do this for me. Does it make my life any easier to live? Actually, no. It makes it a lot harder to live because, to be honest with you, it's real easy to fucking flip the bird and say, you know what, go fuck yourself, instead of going, oh, you know what, this person just needs a little love. Okay? And practice the pause. And this is what I mean. Series of simple choices. But what do you allow for yourself? And what do you settle for yourself? And do you work in opposition to your own being? Okay? Get it right. Anyway, I love you all. You're sourced by an infinite, unconditional love that loves you no matter what. So get it right for your own being. And yes, you are greater than anything that has ever been installed and programmed into you. Love you, Penny. Have a great day. Seriously, guys. You got to get it right. Anyway, I'm signing off out of here. When you see a limit, you get creative. Why? Because you have a creative power inside of you that you can manifest anything. But if you sit there believing that you can't do it, you won't be able to. And if you think that it's too much to handle, well, guess what? It will be. Don't stay in those brain patterns, because that stuff has been also installed by your programming and your conditioning. The way you react to things, the way it's all a part of the programming. Get past it all. When you see an obstacle, learn. And then you will level up. Guaranteed. When you see a setback, it is meant to happen for redirection. Because you're putting your energy somewhere where you got to pull back a minute. That's why that stuff happens. But practice the pause. Breathe through anything. When anything is getting a little bit too much, I want you to breathe. And remind yourself only to focus on your breathing and to breathe life into your being. All right? Don't allow stress to consume you. Breathe life into your being. All right? Anyway, guys, I love you all. I want you to get the most out of your day, most out of your experience. Why? Because you matter the most in your experience. I love you all. Have an amazing, magical day. Have a great one. Peace.